So hello dear students, class 12th. Now today we are going to discuss the new topic, that is our new chapter, molecular basis of inheritance. In this molecular basis of inheritance, we are going to discuss few very important topics. That is the DNA, structure of DNA, discovery of DNA, and how it was considered as genetic material. In search for genetic material, RNA, it's RNA word, the type of RNA, that means genetic RNA, non-genetic RNA, their types and all. The replication of DNA, how the process of replication occurs, what are the enzymes which are involved there in the process of replication, and transcription, genetic code formation, translation, regulation of gene expression, human genome project, and DNA fingerprinting. So there are many topics are given in this chapter of molecular basis of inheritance. Remember one thing very clearly, everyone, that this chapter is going to be very important for your coming examinations of class 12. So please pay attention and try to understand this chapter very well. Now, first I am going to discuss about the DNA. We are starting from the DNA structure, then we will forward in the other topics slowly. So nucleic acids, what we are talking here, nucleic acids. Nucleic acid, this nucleic acid name was first of all given by Altman. Altman is given this name because in the year 1869, Friedrich Mischer has isolated this nucleic acid from the pus cells, but actually at that time there was no knowledge of this nucleic acid, so he named it as nuclein. It was at the same time when the Mendel was discovering, that was 1865. At the same time this nuclein was also discovered. So when this nuclein was discovered, the Altman afterwards given the name it as nucleic acid. Now what we are knowing that nucleic acids are of two types, that is DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA, that is ribonucleic acid. So whenever we are discussing about either of the nucleic acid, that is DNA or RNA, we will very simply say that nucleic acid is made up of nucleotides. Nucleotides are what? Nucleotides we are considering as these are the monomeric units which are forming the nucleic acid. Now these nucleotides are made up of two main components, that is nucleoside and phosphoric acid. Nucleoside itself is a compound made up of two parts, that is pentose sugar and nitrogen base. That is a pentose sugar, 5-carbon sugar will be there, and a nitrogen base will be there. When these two components will combine together, they are forming a nucleoside, and this nucleoside combines with the phosphoric acid, so it forms the nucleotide. So what we will say that about the pentose sugar are of two types, that is deoxyribose sugar, that is present in case of DNA, and ribose sugar, it is present in case of RNA. So first we are discussing about this deoxyribose sugar. You can see the structure here. The 5 carbons are present here, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. They are present in a ring. So first carbon is containing one H and one OH is attached with it. The second carbon is containing 2 hydrogen attached with it. There is no any OH present. On the third carbon again you can find H and OH are here. Fourth carbon contains one H, and the fifth carbon is containing one OH and 2 H, and the one oxygen is also there in the middle of the ring. So ultimately what we will say, the deoxyribose sugar does not contain any OH at the second position. Now in contrast to that, whenever we are discussing over the ribose sugar, so if we see the ribose sugar is present in case of RNA. Here the first carbon containing one OH and one H, the second carbon contains one OH and one H, the third carbon contains one OH, one H, the fourth carbon contains one hydrogen attached, and the fifth carbon the same with one OH and 2 hydrogen, and one oxygen is present in the middle of the chain. So what we are finding the basic difference between deoxyribose sugar and ribose sugar, that is at the second position of carbon. In case of deoxyribose sugar there is no oxygen, that's why it's called deoxy, and in case of ribose sugar the oxygen, that is the OH group, is present. Okay, so this is about the pentose sugars. Now when we are talking about this nitrogen base, what we will say, nitrogen base are actually of two types, purines and pyrimidines. Purines are actually those structures which are made up of two rings. Two rings means one is common pyrimidine ring and one also that is a 5-carbon ring is attached with it. So whenever we are talking about the pyrimidines are of three types, cytosine, thymine and uracil. Cytosine, thymine and uracil. These are the three pyrimidines are present. Now if we see the structure of this cytosine is containing one. This is the carbon number 1. Then it is connected by double bond with the nitrogen. In case of a pyrimidine ring, remember always there's the two nitrogen are coming. One is coming here second position and the second is coming at the fourth position. So two nitrogen are connected with this ring. So first carbon, then nitrogen is present with the double bond, then the carbon with the double bond oxygen, then single bond nitrogen with hydrogen it is connected, then the carbon is connected with hydrogen, and then another carbon with the double bond with this one carbon. So this is what it is called as cytosine. It is one of the pyrimidine nitrogen base. Then second one is thymine. When we are talking about the thymine, so in case of this thymine and uracil, if you see the structure of both, so the structure of both thymine and uracil are similar, except one difference, that is at the fifth 1 2 3 4 5, that is 1 2 3 fourth carbon. So the fourth carbon, what we are finding, CH3 group is present in case of thymine, but in case of uracil it is containing only H, and remaining structure is entirely similar. Okay, and that is why they can interchange themselves at the in case of DNA, thymine is present. In case of RNA, uracil is present in place of this thymine. Now talking about these purines, which are the two ringed structures. The first one is adenine. Adenine is two ringed structure. One is the pyrimidine ring, same way, the one nitrogen, second nitrogen, two nitrogen are present here. Then first carbon is connected by means of NH2 group. Okay. Then the same way, the fifth second chain is containing two nitrogen, one carbon, and the structure will be in this way. Okay, double bond and single bond will come at different places to complete the valencies. And when we talk about the second member, that is guanine, so guanine will be also in the same way. The same structure will be there as in case of adenine. The difference will be at the carbon, here is NH2 will be present. Okay, and here nitrogen contains attached with the this hydrogen. Here also this hydrogen will be present here. So hydrogen will be present in both the places. Is it okay? So this is what we are talking about nucleotide. So formation of nucleotide always occurs whenever a nucleoside and a phosphoric acid connected. Nucleoside itself contains pentose sugar nitrogen base. Pentose sugar is of two types, that is if DNA it is deoxyribose sugar, if it is RNA ribose sugar. In case of nitrogen base it is purine or pyrimidine depending on the structure. Now phosphoric acid which is present here, which is connecting with the nucleoside to form the nucleotide, it is containing this structure, that is S3PO4. So now we are going to discuss about the properties, basic properties of this DNA molecule. Now going to talk about nucleoside and nucleotide. What nucleoside and what nucleotide will form in case of RNA as well as in case of DNA. So first of all, we are talking about nucleoside of both RNA and DNA. So nucleoside, we are knowing the main nitrogen bases which are present in case of RNA are adenine, guanine, cytosine and uracil. No thymine is present. Difference I told that why thymine and uracil can be interchanged. Now adenosine, when it will be produced, this is nucleoside present in case of RNA, it is called as adenosine, then guanosine, cytidine, uridine or uridine. Okay, means adenine becomes adenosine, guanine becomes guanosine, cytosine becomes cytidine and uracil becomes uridine. Now in case of DNA, when we are talking here, adenine, guanine, thymine and cytosine, four are present. So when we are talking, so in case of these nucleosides, the adenine becomes deoxyadenosine, the guanine becomes deoxyguanosine, the cytosine becomes deoxycytidine, and the thymine becomes deoxythymidine. Okay, these are the four nucleosides of RNA and DNA. Now coming to their nucleotides, how the nucleotide will form. Nucleotide means when they will attach themselves with a phosphoric acid. So in case of nucleotides of RNA, when we are talking, the first will be adenylic acid. Adenine becomes, or adenosine becomes adenylic acid. Guanylic acid, guanosine becomes guanylic acid. Cytidine becomes cytidylic acid, and uridine becomes uridylic acid. Okay, that means adenylic acid, guanylic acid, cytidylic acid and uridylic acid. These will be the four nucleotides in case of RNA. Now as in case of DNA we are talking, so DNA we can say these nitrogen bases or these nucleoside will change with when they connect with the phosphoric acid. The names will be deoxyadenylic acid, that means deoxyadenosine becomes deoxyadenylic acid. Deoxyguanylic acid, this deoxyguanosine becomes deoxyguanylic acid, then the same way deoxycytidilic acid, and last is deoxythymidilic acid. So these are the nucleosides and nucleotides. Remember one thing, in the examinations they used to ask in the objective type or in the multiple questions the names of these nucleotides and nucleosides. So please prepare them well. Now coming to our first nucleic acid, that is deoxyribonucleic acid or DNA. So DNA or deoxyribonucleic acid, whenever we are talking, what we will say, the discoverer of this nucleic acid, that is DNA, was Friedrich Mischer. When he has discovered, it was in 1869. So 1869 he discovered this DNA. First of all, we had discussed already from the pus cells he discovered this, and Altman has given it name as nucleic acid or this DNA. DNA name was given by Zacharis actually. Okay, then afterwards this discoverer, the model of DNA, J.D. Watson and F. Crick, they both had given this model of DNA. It's called as a double helical model of DNA. It was given in the year 1953. Now this model was based on X-ray crystallography and chemical analysis by Wilkins and Franklin. Okay, so Franklin and Wilkins, they both has performed different experimental setups by the X-ray crystallography and different chemical analysis processes, and ultimately they had finded out the different conclusions, and on the basis of those conclusions, J.D. Watson and F. Crick in 1953 proposed the model of DNA. Now today we are going to discuss in this about the main properties of the DNA, what properties are there present in the DNA model that is given by Watson and Crick. So this model we are calling as a double helical model. This double helical model, it was proposed by Watson and Crick. So this double helical model, we will very simply we can say, if this starts the formation of the structure of this double helical model, if I say, see, in case of a double helical model, we will say, I am just symbolizing these things, I am not going to draw the actual structures, just symbols of those. A pentose sugar is present. This pentose sugar is deoxyribose sugar. Now on this deoxyribose sugar, at the fifth carbon position, the phosphoric acid used to join by means of ester bond. The OH part present here, which used to connect with the OH of this phosphoric acid. So both OH when connect, that is when acid and base, acid and OH when combine here, they forms an ester bond. After that, on the first carbon, here on the first carbon of this sugar, the third position of the nitrogen base of pyrimidine, third position. Pyrimidine we are having, that is cytosine thiamine. So cytosine, suppose this is the cytosine molecules third nitrogen of the pyrimidine ring will connect here. Okay. Now at the third carbon is containing one H and one OH. So at third carbon again the phosphoric acid used to connect, and phosphoric acid forms ester bond here also. Okay. Now what happens? This phosphate again shares its OH with the OH of this carbon, which is the fifth carbon of the second pentose sugar or deoxyribose sugar. So in this way what happens? One nucleotide gets connected with the another nucleotide. So sugar and phosphorus, they are forming a backbone, and from this backbone these nitrogen bases are just elevated, or they are arising inside. Now this, suppose this is the first position, here I am just going to connect the adenine. So adenine is a purine. Purine's ninth number nitrogen will connect with the first number of carbon here. Okay. Now the second chain which is present opposite to this. Now again we are finding here this phosphorus will be here. So this is what the fifth carbon is towards the upper side. So this we are considering as 5' end, and lower side what we are finding? Lower side, this is the third carbon. So this we are considering as 3' end. So carbon chain, this polynucleotide chain is running from 5' to 3' direction. Now what happened? Cytosine always combines with guanine. So guanine is a purine and cytosine is a pyrimidine. So whenever cytosine combines with guanine, what happens? They used to connect themselves by means of 3 hydrogen bonds. Now the guanine used to come, it joins here. This is the guanine. Now guanine combines with the first carbon of the, which one? First carbon of sugar. So this is the first carbon. Here the chain will be in this way. This is the fifth carbon coming. This fifth carbon will combine again with the phosphorus. Okay. Then this is the third carbon. Third carbon is connected with the phosphorus. I am showing here. This is the third carbon and this is the fifth carbon. Now here adenine will combine with the thymine by means of 2 hydrogen bonds. So here thymine is present. It will combine with the adenine by means of double bond or the 2 hydrogen bonds. It will also, the thymine is what? Thymine is a pyrimidine. So its third number of nitrogen will combine with the sugar's first carbon. So again the same structure we will get. That is this inverted sugar is its fifth carbon is coming here. So this fifth carbon phosphorus and the third carbon phosphorus, they used to join in this way, and again what we will say here, again one phosphorus will connect it. So what we are finding here, the entire structure which we are drawing, this is the skeleton of the structure. Here what we are finding, the 3' end is at the top, that is the third carbon is at the top, and lower side is the fifth carbon. So 5' end is towards the bottom. So what we are saying, that in case of the double helical model of DNA, the different nucleotides are connecting with each other and forming the polynucleotide chain. This polynucleotide chains are 2 in number in case of one DNA molecule. So these 2 polynucleotide chains are running anti-parallel to each other. Anti-parallel to each other means one chain is running from 5' to 3' direction, while the second chain is running from 3' to 5' direction. In this way what happens? The nitrogen bases which are corresponding to each other, that's called as complementary bases. So due to this complementary bases, they used to join by means of 3 or 2 hydrogen bonds, and the 2 chains comes in direct contact. Now afterwards what happens? When these 2 chains will be connected with each other, then the coiling of these 2 chains will occur. That means these 2 chains will coil on each other. It is in the same way like the staircase is coiling, like this way the chains are coiling on each other. Okay, the entire diameter which they are getting, it is 20 angstrom, or you can say 2 nanometer. So 2 nanometer or 20 angstrom diameter is the entire diameter of this DNA. Why this diameter is uniform? The answer we are giving very simply, because at every place one purine always combines with one pyrimidine. That means 2-ringed structure is combining with the single-ringed structure. So in this way what happens? When the 2-ringed structure and single-ringed structure is combining everywhere, so overall the distance between 2 polynucleotide chain becomes same. So the entire diameter comes in the form of that 20 angstrom. So this question is coming, then what will happen? Why it is not happening that 2 pyrimidines are combining or 2 purines are combining? So answer we are giving very simply, that if the 2 purines will combine or 2 pyrimidines will combine, so in case of pyrimidine the diameter will decrease, and in case of purines the diameter will increase. So uneven diameter will form, which is not possible in case of DNA. Okay. Then second thing is what? Second thing is the loop. The DNA, these 2 polynucleotide chains when run anti-parallel to each other, they are forming, they are coil on each other and they are forming the loops. Now this loop, if we are saying that this loop starts from one position, suppose from this position the loop has started and here it has completed. So we are finding that there are 10 pair of nitrogen bases are present between this loop. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. 10 pair of nitrogen bases are present in one loop, and the entire loop is having a distance of 34 angstrom or 3.4 nanometer. Okay, 34 angstrom or 3.4 nanometer is the loop distance. Now in between that there are 10 base pairs are present. So 10 base pair, that means the distance between the 2 base pair will be 3.4 angstrom, or you can say 0.34 nanometer. So in this way what happens? That each and everything is fixed in the molecule of DNA. What we are studying, then in case of the double helical model which was proposed by J.D. Watson and F. Crick in the year 1953, according to them, the nitrogen bases are combining with the sugar and forming the nucleosides. These nucleosides are combining with the phosphorus and forming the nucleotides. Now these nucleotides are combining with each other by means of phosphodiester bonds and forming a continuous polynucleotide chain. Now these two polynucleotide chains are running anti-parallel to each other. They combine with the help of nitrogen bases and then they coil on each other. At the time of coiling, what they are maintaining? They are maintaining a diameter of 20 angstrom. Now in each loop of this DNA there are 10 base pairs are present. The distance between the one base pair will be 3.4 angstrom or 0.34 nanometer, and the entire loop is having a distance of 34 angstrom or 3.4 nanometer. Okay, so in this way this DNA structure was described. So I think it is clear to everyone. Now one more thing, these two chains are coiled on each other in clockwise manner, that means right-handed fashion. So right-handed fashion they used to coil, and on coiling what happens, in between the two these base pairs, two base pair, wherever the base pair will coming, in between them the distance, that's the angle is coming, angle of twist is coming, that is 36 degree. So 36 degree angle is coming in between the base pairs, and ultimately these base pairs used to move and ultimately they forms our entire structure of DNA. Okay. Now as we are knowing that DNA molecules are right-handed, there is one DNA molecule which is left-handed called as Z type of DNA. Z type of DNA is only the left-handed DNA molecule, and remaining the A type, B type, C type and D type, these four type of DNA molecules are right-handed molecules. And remember one thing, what we are studying, or the structure of the DNA which was described by Watson and Crick, that is a B form of DNA or B type of DNA. So structure which we are studying here, that is a B type of DNA. Okay, so this is all about the structure of DNA. Now next video we will discuss about the structure of RNA, type of RNA and their functions. Okay.